The call came at 7:26 a.m. on a Wednesday, exactly 5 months and 3 days after they restructured my position. Hiroshi Tanaka, polite Japanese accent, very professional. Mr. Cross, we have discovered significant problems with Apex Energy's compliance status. Are you available to discuss? I was drinking coffee in my home office, watching the sunrise over Houston's skyline. 5 months earlier, I'd been Apex's senior compliance director. Now I was about to find out they'd made a $750 million mistake. My name's Nathan Cross, 53, and I've been keeping energy companies legally compliant for 19 years. Before that, I spent 12 years in the Air Force making sure aircraft systems didn't fail at 30,000 feet. Same principle, different stakes. When maintenance breaks in aviation, people die. When compliance breaks in energy, companies die. The day this whole mess started was a Tuesday. Cody Patterson walked into our monthly safety review and called my compliance team legacy overhead with outdated processes. I knew right then Apex Energy was heading for a cliff. Cody had that entitled MBA energy you see everywhere now. Expensive suit, fresh haircut, and the kind of confidence that comes from never actually screwing up anything that mattered. CEO's nephew, newly appointed VP of Digital Innovation, whatever that meant, in a 89-year-old energy company. He didn't shake hands when introduced. He gave that finger wave thing and said buzzwords like digital transformation and process automation while sipping a $15 green juice like he'd invented efficiency. Nobody asked him to present that day. Nobody stopped him either. He clicked through a PowerPoint titled Modernizing Legacy Functions, Phase 1. Phase 1, it turned out, was gutting my department. I'd been Apex's named SOC2 compliance director for 9 years. That's 9 years of building safety protocols from scratch, watching regulatory changes sweep through energy like hurricanes, documenting every nightmare scenario the EPA, OSHA, and DOT could throw at us. I had 4 external audits under my belt with 0 violations. My filing system was organized like an aircraft maintenance manual, everything labeled, dated, cross-referenced. Cody didn't even know what SOC2 meant. I watched him Google it during the meeting. That morning, he stood there grinning with his aunt's company credit card, called compliance an outdated support function, and suggested we automate oversight using AI solutions. My department was redundant, he said, overstaffed. My $89,000 salary, plus $14,000 in benefits eliminated. That's $103,000 in annual savings, he bragged. Almost a full marketing budget upgrade. Someone actually clapped. I didn't. I just capped my pen and asked, "We done here?" Cody left with his spreadsheet and a satisfied little nod. I went back to my office and opened a fresh binder. It wasn't anger. It wasn't even surprise. It was protocol. Air Force habit. When someone's about to make a catastrophic mistake, you document everything and prepare for damage control. I started backing up files. Every access credential, every compliance designation, every legal document where my name appeared as the responsible authority. Most people at Apex didn't realize our entire regulatory framework still required my formal signature. Every quarterly filing, every safety certification, every audit response had Nathan Cross listed as primary contact. No replacement had been designated. Nobody could replace me without board approval and formal reassignment paperwork filed within 21 calendar days. But Cody didn't know that. His Aunt Diana, the CEO, probably didn't either. At first I thought someone would pump the brakes. Maybe HR would hesitate. Maybe Diana, who once called me the guy who keeps us out of federal prison, might speak up. But nothing. HR sent the reclassification paperwork 5 days later. My new title, Senior Administrative Coordinator. My security clearance was downgraded. My invitations to leadership meetings disappeared overnight. I nodded, no complaints, even congratulated Cody when he bragged about hitting his first efficiency target. He actually gave me a thumbs up and called me Nate. So I printed the original SOC2 designation letter, the one signed by the board in 2020, and emailed it to my personal account with a timestamp. Then I printed 2 copies. One went into my home filing cabinet, the other into a binder labeled Regulatory Continuity, Archive Only, and quietly placed it in the legal department's storage room. 3rd shelf, right side. I didn't tell anyone. See, people think revenge needs to be loud, dramatic exits and angry speeches about being unappreciated. But nobody appreciates a landmine either until someone steps on it. The real beauty was in Section 14.2 of our business continuity plan, a clause I'd added 4 years ago after watching a competitor get hammered with $6.3 million in fines for improper compliance handoffs. It stated that any change to the named compliance officer must be formally reassigned by board resolution within 21 calendar days, or the designation becomes legally invalid retroactive to the vacancy date. Energy compliance fines start at $18,000 per day for minor violations. After 90 days of continued violation, they escalate to $42,000 per day. The math gets ugly fast. Cody had no idea. Legal hadn't checked. Diana just signed off on the efficiency report without reading the details. 7 weeks after the modernization, I submitted my resignation. Clean and simple. Effective 14 days from today, I will be stepping down from my position at Apex Energy Solutions. That's it. No drama, no exit interview demands, no company-wide email about being undervalued. They processed it like routine paperwork, disabled my access by end of day. The IT ticket was so rushed they misspelled my name and forgot to update the compliance registry. My son Austin called that night to check on me. He's a junior at Texas A&M studying engineering. Smart kid, smarter than his old man, in most ways, but he inherited my attention to detail. Dad, you sure about this? What about my tuition? Spring semester's coming up. Trust me, son, this is going to work out. Your old man didn't spend 12 years in the Air Force without learning how to plan for contingencies. Sounds like you've got something up your sleeve, just following proper procedures. Sometimes that's all it takes. That weekend, I updated my profile on the Federal Compliance Registry, setting my certification to active, executive designation relinquished, no replacement filed, effective day 22. Then I registered as an independent consultant specializing in crisis compliance recovery. 48 hours later, my phone started ringing. By Monday, I had 6 serious inquiries. 3 from law firms representing companies in regulatory trouble, 2 from boutique consulting groups, and 1 from a Japanese energy conglomerate that specialized in acquiring American mid-market energy companies. That last one made me smile. Across town, Apex hummed along without missing a beat. No exit procedures, no knowledge transfer, no replacement training. Cody was already planning phase 2 of his optimization strategy. Diana started talking about the company's new agility mindset in industry interviews. Nobody noticed the compliance clock ticking toward day 22. I set up shop in my home office, same desk I'd used for weekend work, same view of the neighborhood. My first consulting contract paid $325 per hour. The math worked better than my old salary. Every morning, I'd check the calendar on my phone, counting days. Day 43 of Apex's compliance violation, I got a call from an energy company in Oklahoma. Their compliance director had quit without notice, and they were facing a regulatory audit in 5 weeks. Panic mode. I quoted them $400 per hour plus expenses for a 6-week emergency engagement. They said yes before I finished the sentence. Day 67, I was on a plane to Colorado helping a natural gas company navigate an EPA investigation. Their previous compliance team had missed a filing deadline. The potential fines were in the millions. My job was to reconstruct their documentation trail and prove good faith compliance efforts, Air Force precision, and attention to detail. Same skills, different battlefield. Day 90, the escalating fine structure kicked in for Apex, not that anyone there knew it yet. Energy compliance violations become exponentially more expensive after 90 days. The daily penalty jumped from $18,000 to $42,000. Still invisible, still accumulating, still retroactive, to day 22. Meanwhile, industry contacts started reaching out. Word travels fast in energy circles, especially when companies make stupid compliance moves. A former colleague at Shell called day 95. Heard Apex let you go. Their loss, our gain if you're interested. By day 100, I had 3 standing offers from major players, all paying significantly more than my old Apex salary. Day 112, I was back in Houston when Austin called with news. He'd been accepted into Texas A&M's Accelerated Regulatory Engineering program. New field, growing demand, excellent job prospects. Guess who inspired me to look into it, he said. Your old man's rubbing off on you. More like I realized there's job security in keeping people out of trouble. Plus, the starting salaries are really good. That conversation made everything worth it. Austin understanding that expertise matters, that experience has value, that's what a father wants to hear. Day 125, word came through the grapevine that Apex was struggling with their latest EPA filing. Nothing major, just the kind of routine submission that used to cross my desk every quarter. Except now, nobody at Apex knew the specific format requirements or which federal office to submit to. They'd hired a junior associate to handle compliance, fresh MBA with zero energy experience. Kid was in over his head. Day 137, Apex announced the deal of the century. Press release went out at 10 a.m., Apex Energy Solutions to be acquired by Yamamoto Corporation for $750 million. The story made the Houston Business Chronicle front page. Diana was quoted extensively about Apex's innovative operational transformation under new leadership. Cody was quoted too. He'd positioned himself as the architect of Apex's lean operational model that attracted international attention. The article mentioned his strategic elimination of redundant legacy functions as a key factor in Yamamoto's interest. I read it over my morning coffee. Austin saw me smiling at the newspaper. "Good news?" he asked. "You could say that. Sometimes patience pays off." The announcement didn't surprise me. Yamamoto had been circling American energy companies for 2 years, looking for acquisition targets with strong operational efficiency. On paper, Apex looked perfect. Reduced overhead, streamlined operations, impressive cost savings. What they didn't know was that those cost savings came from eliminating actual expertise. Day 145, word leaked that Yamamoto's due diligence team was flying in from Tokyo. Professional, thorough, and led by Dr. Kenji Nakamura, who spoke 4 languages and had the kind of attention to detail that made Japanese engineering legendary. His team included Hiroshi Tanaka, a compliance specialist who'd spent 18 years auditing American acquisitions for Japanese companies. I knew Hiroshi by reputation. We'd never met, but industry colleagues described him as meticulous to a fault. If there was a compliance problem, he'd find it, and once he found it, he'd document it with surgical precision. Day 150. The Yamamoto team arrived in Houston. They spent the first week reviewing financial records, operational metrics, and safety protocols. Everything looked clean. Cody had prepared beautiful presentations about streamlined operations and reduced overhead. The numbers were impressive. The timeline was aggressive. Diana had already started talking about integration plans. Yamamoto executives were optimistic. This looked like exactly the kind of lean, efficient American energy company they wanted in their portfolio. Apex's management team was confident. Legal had reviewed everything twice. The deal was on track for closing in 3 weeks. Stock price jumped 12% on the announcement. Local business press called it a perfect strategic fit. Diana did interviews about Apex's transformation into a next-generation energy company. Day 155, I got a call from a headhunter. Major consulting firm wanted to discuss a senior position. "Your reputation in crisis compliance is impressive," she said. "Companies are specifically asking for Nathan Cross." That felt good. After 9 years of being taken for granted at Apex, having the industry recognize my expertise was satisfying, but I wasn't ready to commit to anything permanent yet. The Apex situation was still playing out, and I wanted to see how it ended. Day 159, Cody posted on LinkedIn about disrupting traditional compliance models through innovative automation. The post got 200+ likes from young MBA types who thought regulation was just paperwork that slowed down business. I saved a screenshot. Sometimes you need souvenirs. Day 161, exactly 22 compliance cycles since my designation had been terminated without replacement. Hiroshi Tanaka was in Apex's legal archive room cross-referencing regulatory filings with personnel records. Routine due diligence, nothing unusual. He wasn't looking for problems, just verifying that all certifications were current and properly maintained. That's when he found my binder. 3rd shelf, right side, exactly where I'd left it 5 months earlier. Regulatory continuity. Archive only. The timing wasn't accidental. I'd calculated when a thorough due diligence would likely reach the compliance documentation phase. Japanese companies are predictable that way. Methodical, systematic, comprehensive. They always save regulatory review for the 2nd week after financials but before operational assessment. Hiroshi opened the binder and started reading. The original SOC2 designation letter, the business continuity plan with section 14.2 highlighted, the timeline requirements, the board resolution from 2020 that was never superseded. He spent 2 hours going through every document. Then he cross-referenced the dates with Apex's current compliance registry. The math was simple and brutal. Day 22 through day 161 equals 139 days of compliance violation. First 90 days at $18,000 per day equals $1,620,000. Remaining 49 days at $42,000 per day equals $2,058,000. Total exposure, $3,678,000, and climbing at $42,000 per day until resolved. But it got worse. Because no replacement had been designated, every regulatory filing, every safety certification, every compliance document submitted during those 139 days was legally invalid. Apex had been misrepresenting its regulatory standing to customers, insurers, and potential buyers for over 4 months, including Yamamoto Corporation. Hiroshi called Dr. Nakamura immediately. Day 162, Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Hiroshi Tanaka walked into the Apex boardroom carrying a folder that would destroy everything Cody had built. "Who is Nathan Cross?" he asked, setting the folder on the conference table. Cody looked confused. "He used to work here. We restructured his position last year as part of our operational optimization, but he is still listed as your named SOC2 compliance officer," Hiroshi said, opening the folder. "According to your federal registry and this documentation, he remains the designated authority for all regulatory filings." Diana leaned forward. "That's impossible. We handled his transition months ago." Hiroshi wasn't smiling. "Where is the board resolution replacing him? The formal reassignment documentation? The updated federal notifications?" Silence. Cody started typing frantically on his phone. Diana was already reaching for hers. Legal was called out of another meeting. HR scrambled to find records that didn't exist. "We assumed the transition was automatic when we restructured his role," someone from HR offered weakly. Hiroshi shook his head. "Federal compliance designations are never automatic. They require explicit board action and formal replacement within 21 calendar days. You have been operating without valid compliance authority for exactly 139 days, over 6 complete compliance cycles." Dr. Nakamura, who had been quietly reviewing Hiroshi's findings, looked up from her laptop. "This represents material misrepresentation of regulatory standing during preliminary negotiations." Cody tried to salvage the situation. "It's just paperwork. We can fix this in a day. Bring Nathan back, file the forms, move forward." "No," Dr. Nakamura said firmly. "You cannot retroactively fix federal compliance violations. Energy compliance fines escalate after 90 days. Your current exposure is $3,678,000, increasing by $42,000 daily." The room went dead quiet. Diana's face had gone gray. "Surely we can resolve this. It's a procedural oversight." Hiroshi opened his laptop and turned the screen toward the table. "Your compliance violations create significant liability exposure for any acquiring entity, but more concerning is the pattern of misrepresentation. Mr. Cross left detailed documentation showing that proper procedures were available and ignored." He clicked to the next slide. "Section 14.2 of your own business continuity plan, authored by Mr. Cross, explicitly outlines the 21-day requirement. This was not an oversight. This was negligence." Cody's voice cracked slightly. "We didn't see that documentation. It was filed in your legal archive with clear labeling," Hiroshi replied. "Mr. Cross followed proper procedure. Your organization did not." Dr. Nakamura closed her laptop slowly. "This is a material breach of due diligence representations. We must terminate acquisition proceedings immediately." Diana stood up abruptly. "Dr. Nakamura, surely we can work through this. The deal is scheduled to close next week. Ms. Patterson, your company has been operating in federal violation for over 4 months while representing full compliance to potential buyers. This creates exposure for Yamamoto Corporation that we cannot accept." That afternoon, Hiroshi called me directly. "Professional courtesy," he said, "wanted to understand the timeline of my departure and the transition procedures that were supposed to be followed." I was in my home office working on a compliance manual for a client in Louisiana. The call was expected. I'd been counting days on my calendar, watching the violation accumulate like compound interest. Mr. Cross, this is Hiroshi Tanaka from Yamamoto Corporation. We are reviewing Apex Energy's regulatory standing as part of acquisition due diligence. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Can you confirm the timeline of your departure and any transition procedures that were implemented? I gave him the dates. Restructured on day 0, resigned effective day 49, final day 63. Explained the proper procedures, confirmed that no formal replacement had ever been designated. When he asked if I'd attempted to notify Apex of the compliance gap, I mentioned the binder. Regulatory continuity, archive only, I told him. Third shelf, right side in legal storage, should still be there. We found it, Hiroshi said. Very thorough documentation. Section 14.2 of the Business Continuity Plan appears to address this exact scenario. Yes, sir. I wrote that clause in 2022 after watching a competitor get hit with $6.3 million in fines for improper compliance handoff. Seemed like prudent risk management. Indeed. Are you currently available for consulting engagement? Depends on the scope and timeline. What did you have in mind? Day 163, Monday morning. Dr. Nakamura called an emergency meeting. Diana, Cody, the board, legal counsel, everyone who mattered. She laid out the situation in terms that left no room for interpretation. Apex Energy has been operating in violation of federal compliance requirements for 139 days. The regulatory fines currently total $3,678,000 and increase by $42,000 daily until resolved. Cody started to interrupt. Dr. Nakamura held up her hand. Furthermore, every compliance document submitted during this period is legally invalid. This includes safety certifications, environmental filings, and regulatory representations made to Yamamoto Corporation during preliminary negotiations. Diana's voice was barely a whisper. What does this mean for the acquisition? It means the acquisition is terminated, Dr. Nakamura said flatly. Effective immediately. Our legal team has identified material misrepresentation that creates unacceptable liability exposure. Cody looked like he was going to be sick. Surely we can resolve this. Bring Nathan back. Fix the paperwork. Move forward. Trust has been compromised, Dr. Nakamura replied. Mr. Cross provided proper documentation and procedures. Your organization chose to ignore them. This was not an oversight. This was a failure of corporate governance. The Yamamoto team was packed and gone by noon. Their final act was to formally notify Apex's board that due diligence had revealed material compliance violations and misrepresentation of regulatory standing. The press release went out Tuesday morning. Yamamoto Corporation withdraws from Apex Energy acquisition due to unresolved regulatory compliance issues. Apex's stock opened down 23% and kept falling. By market close, it had dropped 41% in a single day. The business press picked up the story immediately. Headlines like, "Compliance failure kills $750 million deal," and "When cost-cutting goes wrong." The Houston Business Chronicle ran a feature titled, "The $750 million Mistake: How Apex Energy Lost the Deal of a Lifetime." They interviewed compliance experts, corporate lawyers, and business school professors. Everyone had opinions about proper due diligence and the importance of regulatory oversight. Nobody interviewed me. That was fine. I had work to do. Wednesday morning, my phone rang again. Dr. Nakamura this time. Mr. Cross, Yamamoto Corporation is interested in retaining your services for a comprehensive compliance review of our North American operations. 24-month contract, $425 per hour, full autonomy over methodology and timeline. Are you available? I looked around my home office. Same desk, same view, and a stack of consulting contracts that had tripled my old salary. Yes, ma'am. I'm available. Day 167, Diana Patterson announced her early retirement, effective immediately. The press release cited personal reasons and desire to spend time with family. The board called an emergency meeting to discuss leadership transitions and operational restructuring. Stock continued falling, down 52% from pre-announcement levels. Cody was asked to submit his resignation by Friday. No press release for that one. Word leaked through industry channels that he was exploring opportunities in the tech sector. Translation: nobody in energy would touch him. Day 175, local business press reported that Apex was being sold in pieces to various buyers. The original headquarters building was leased to a tech startup. Most of the energy assets went to a competitor in Oklahoma. Nobody wanted the corporate entity with its compliance liability exposure. Austin called that weekend, excited about his acceptance into Texas A&M's regulatory engineering program. He'd been following the Apex story in the business news. "Dad, they're using this as a case study in my business law class. Professor says it's a perfect example of how cutting corners on compliance can destroy shareholder value. What's your take on it? That someone at Apex knew exactly what they were doing when they wrote those procedures, and someone else ignored them because they thought they knew better. Smart kid. Your old man's proud of you. I've been thinking about specializing in energy compliance. Professor says the field's growing, especially with all the international acquisitions happening. Good choice. There's always demand for people who can keep companies out of trouble." That conversation meant everything. Austin understanding that expertise matters, that experience has value, that his father's work actually protected people. That's what makes the whole mess worthwhile. Day 200, I moved into my new office at Yamamoto Corporation's North American headquarters in Houston. 14th floor, corner office, view of the downtown skyline. My assignment was comprehensive. Review compliance procedures for all Yamamoto U.S. energy facilities and recommend improvements. The work was familiar, but the scale was impressive. 9 energy facilities across 6 states, each with different regulatory requirements and local compliance challenges. Yamamoto wanted a unified system that could handle federal oversight, state regulations, and international standards. They valued expertise. They understood that compliance wasn't just paperwork. It was the foundation that kept companies operational and profitable. The contrast with Apex was stark. At Yamamoto, when I explained regulatory requirements, executives listened. When I recommended safety protocols, they implemented them immediately. When I suggested additional training, they allocated budget without question. This was a company that understood the difference between cost and investment. Day 230. The final regulatory settlement was announced. Apex's insurance covered most of the $3.678 million in accumulated fines, but the company's reputation was finished. The business press called it a cautionary tale about the hidden costs of aggressive cost-cutting. Austin texted me that evening, following in Dad's footsteps. Turns out there really is job security in keeping people out of trouble. Day 365, 1-year anniversary of my restructuring at Apex. I was sitting in my Yamamoto office reviewing a compliance report that would wrap up my first quarterly assessment. 9 facilities, unified procedures, 0 regulatory violations, projected annual savings of $3.1 million through improved efficiency and reduced legal exposure. Dr. Nakamura had already asked about extending the contract. Yamamoto was expanding their U.S. operations and wanted me to help evaluate potential acquisitions. The work was interesting, the pay was excellent, and the company actually valued compliance expertise. Some people spend their careers trying to be seen. I spent mine knowing where the emergency exits were located. My mistake at Apex was assuming someone else would read the safety manual when I left. They didn't replace me, they erased me. And like any good safety protocol, the consequences were built right into the system. Cody had called compliance legacy overhead with outdated processes. Turns out legacy knowledge is what keeps companies alive when the regulations change and the lawyers come calling. Apex learned that lesson too late. Austin's right about job security. There's always demand for people who can keep companies out of federal prison. Business is good, really good. The Apex building site's mostly empty now. For lease signs in the windows, different tenants every few months. Cody's consulting business never got off the ground. Diana's retirement in the suburbs is probably comfortable, but her reputation in Houston energy circles is finished. Me? I'm the guy companies call when they want to make sure their compliance director is irreplaceable, because experience beats innovation every single time, especially when the stakes are measured in hundreds of millions and someone's counting on you to know where all the exits are located. Just took them $750 million to figure that out.